What's up, guys? Welcome to the Saturday show. Of course, on Saturdays, I like to go back through the week of Newswave, see what you guys had to say about the different events and topics that we talked about, and respond to them and just have a good time. Now, before we're going to start today, we will take a look at some quick news. I wanted to point this out to everyone who may have missed it. If you have Xbox Game Pass, Doom 2016 is now on there. It's now part of Game Pass. You can go on there if you already have it, download it. Rage also made its way over, but I want to recommend Doom, especially if you took a look at the Doom Eternal video from yesterday. We also did a video on it as well here, and you got really excited and you're really interested in it. Maybe you haven't played that version of Doom, the first one, which go play it right now because it's an awesome game. Yeah, go check it out. It's on Game Pass now along with Rage. Rage, yeah, you could probably skip that one, but Rage is fun. But Doom's the one to really set your eyes on and play that. It's an awesome game. Get you ready for Doom Eternal, which we think is coming out next year. All right, guys, out of the way, let's get started. On Monday, we talked about the Smash Bros. Ultimate Direct that was set for the week, and also went over a newly announced console from Subor that would work to rival the PS4 Pro, but only in China. The Plowmaster says, I hope that Nintendo actually hides some of the stuff that's in Smash Bros. So we can at least be surprised by one or two things when we purchase the game. Unfortunately, you may remember like back in like the 90s, mid 90s to late 90s, we didn't really know anything about a lot of games when they came out. Usually we had to kind of take a chance on a game off the shelf, or we had to talk to our friends, which is why so many video game rumors spread so easily, whether it was the Mew under the truck, which was a thing, right, where you had to push the truck for the SSN. That was a big deal, and it's because we didn't have the internet kind of like we do now, where it's in our pockets with our phones. You had to either be one of few people who had access to a solid dial-up connection and a decent computer and could go online. That wasn't as common as you would think back then. I was fortunate to have access to one, but I know a lot of people who did not, and right now it's unfortunate because they want to tell us everything we can about the game to get us interested in it, which is characters. They'll tell us about every character that's in Smash, whereas back with the 64 version, when you unlocked characters, it was a big deal because you might not have even known if they were in there. I remember actually talking to people on the school bus way back when for Smash, and they actually explained to me how to unlock Ness and how to unlock Captain Falcon because I didn't know how to unlock them, I think, at the time. And that was kind of one of those cool, like, aha moments that, like, these kind of things are hidden in the games, and it's just really neat to see. I mean, we've seen some stuff like Master Hand being in the GameCube version, right? We saw that. I actually had no idea about that until it showed up on online, where there were a bunch of videos made about it, and that was really cool. But no, it's too important to them to advertise big characters and things that they probably could have kept secret back in the 90s just because the internet wasn't as prevalent as it is now. And actually, I kind of missed that. Tuesday, we talked about Square Enix continuing to tease the Bravely Default series for the Switch. After Octopath Traveler crossed 1 million copies shipped, Square shared yet another picture of the 1 million celebration tweet, except this time, it was from an angle that showed the shadow behind the characters that appeared to be a callback to Bravely Default. Christian R says probably Bravely Third, and I didn't really talk too much about that, only because I have a feeling Bravely Default would be an easy compilation collection, if you will, to bring over. They could even do stuff where they have like a little museum thing with concept art, because some of the artwork from Bravely Default, and as we saw with Octopath Traveler, is fantastic, and like that would make a really cool either art book or just a digital kind of art book that they have, museum with like even the music, which is really good. I just think that's easy for Square, and Square is, I feel like, very interested in easy money with how many times they've moved Kingdom Hearts to PlayStation systems and Final Fantasy X and X-2 to different systems. But they haven't moved Kingdom Hearts to anything other than a PlayStation system. It feels like Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 on the Switch would be just easy money. Bravely Default being a nice little compilation would be easy, and honestly, they'd have to move that over anyway if they do Bravely Default or Bravely Third, because they would want people to know about the game. That's why I'm confused why Square hasn't moved Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 to the Xbox. Since they're putting Kingdom Hearts 3 on there, you feel like they would move those over to the Xbox. But hey, I guess not. I guess they'll just make the Xbox people play it on PlayStation and then go to the Xbox. Although, if you're interested in Kingdom Hearts 3, you've probably at least played the first one when it was really popular on the PS2. Maybe even the second one. The second one was definitely better. The first one hasn't aged that well. Go play the second one. But either way, you probably don't know what's going on in the story. Don't worry. most of us don't either. Wednesday, we took a look at the unfortunate events around the IGN plagiarism controversy that saw their Nintendo editor lift their review from a smaller YouTuber under the name Boomstick Gaming. The video exposing the situation went viral, leading IGN to part ways with Philip Mewson and apologize to the internet and Boomstick Gaming. Eric Timmer says, if you know him, you need to reach out and get his side of the story regardless of what it is. You are a news show, so go get the story. A lot of people have actually told me that I should be doing this. I told Philip, hey, go, take care of your stuff offline. And I even suggested, you probably should go offline for a while. And whenever Philip does want to talk about this if he wants to come on a podcast and talk about it, that's fine. But I don't feel the need to push him on it. To be honest, here, I'm not really into a lot of the drama side stories. The only reason I really talk about anything like that is if it, in this case, hits close to home, or if it's about something that could potentially wrong a consumer, like we've seen with loot boxes and canceled games and bad excuses over that kind of stuff with games. But this was weird for me. You guys probably noticed, I saw some people in the comments saying, oh, why are you covering this? It's because Philip was a friend of mine, and if I didn't, I would have had people asking me why I didn't forever. So it was necessary. I didn't really do like many videos about it. There were some channels that all did like 4 or 5 videos on the situation, and I did the one. I figured I'd have to talk about it here because we go through every episode of Newswave, and that's kind of the case. If Philip does want to come on, he can. That's fine. He can talk about it, but the evidence is pretty straightforward. I don't really know if there's a good excuse at all for it, to be honest. So he's more than welcome to, though, or he can just go on his YouTube channel and just put a video out and explain his side, or even just apologize. But really, that's on him, and I don't feel the need to push him on it. Zcat says, no, Philip, you were the chosen one. You were supposed to bring balance to gaming news, not throw it into darkness. I saw this everywhere as well because he was a YouTuber. IGN picked him up when he was a YouTuber, brought him in. It makes YouTubers look bad. I don't think that's the case, just like how it doesn't technically, it shouldn't make IGN look as bad as people are making it out to be, because IGN is made up of a bunch of people, like I said before. Unfortunately, Philip not only represented IGN, but he also represented a lot of YouTubers as well as a YouTuber. And that probably won't, like, people are starting to realize that he was a YouTuber as well. And I have a feeling IGN is going to be looking for YouTubers much anymore to hire, to be honest, or they are going to screen them heavily. But as people like Alana Pierce have said, the pay wasn't great. So while some people see it as a dream job, you're probably not going to go pull any really big YouTubers who are doing outstanding reviews and have them come work for IGN, because it's just probably not worth it to them. Thursday, we talked about an interesting VR mode that appears to have been found by hackers and data miners in the Nintendo Switch OS. If the VR option is already in the Switch, could Nintendo have an idea how to use it ready to go? Gunslinger says, yo, Daemon X Machina in Switch VR would be insane. Yeah, that's probably the best instance of VR, is when you are in like a pilot cockpit view and you don't have to move around, but your mech moves around, so you use controls to move them around. That is, I think, the best version of VR. Not necessarily where you have to use a controller to move your character around, because that kind of breaks immersion, and using something like HTC Vive is like, get the whole room ready for it. You're making over your whole room, you're putting a leash on so you can get ready for this, whereas that, like Wipeout VR, the Wipeout Omega HD series they do in VR, that is an outstanding use of VR. And I think that has a lot to do with it being in a cockpit, but I don't know if the Switch is suited for VR at all. Like, this could be for something down the road, a Switch revision, a Pro version of it or something, because the visual style, when it's cut in half on a 720p screen, and then as we've seen with some games where the resolution can drop just in handheld mode, it doesn't always stay at 720p, right? I mean, we see that a lot. I couldn't imagine them getting the image to like 600p and then cutting it in half again for like a 300p screen. I don't think that'd go over well. I think this is more for the Switch when it gets a little older and they have a new revision of it, a Pro version, and it's kind of in the OS because they've been working on it and they've probably been experimenting with it. I mean, it was technically hidden in the OS not for us to use, so I think they have something in mind, but they're waiting. VR still needs to mature, and they still need to play around with it and figure out how they can make it work for them. Finally, on Friday, we talked about the weird situation about Steep on the Switch. This game has been missing since the Switch reveal, and many of us were starting to wonder if it had been canceled, since last October was the last time Ubisoft mentioned the game. Well, we finally got an answer from the Steep's Twitter account telling us a development had halted on the Switch version. Nuvendel says, because, I mean, what happened with Steep is obvious. Challenges with tech were probably a thing, but the game massively underperformed sales-wise on all platforms. To be blunt, the game coming out on Switch would at this point be a waste. It's a game with virtually no hype or interest, and this would be coming out so late. The Switch isn't magic. It can't make any game sell. And actually, yeah, you're probably right for this, because while I know there are fans of Steep, I'm not going to pretend like there aren't any fans of Steep. It's not that big anymore. We just had the Winter Olympics DLC come out, and I didn't hear anyone really talk about it even a little bit during of course the Winter Olympics. They had the DLC that came out. I didn't hear anyone really talk about it. I think some people, when the video yesterday on Friday came out, I saw some comments of people just like, yeah, oh well, that's fine. And now Doom Eternal is coming to the Switch, so Steep couldn't run. Are we sure about that? Although it doesn't perform well on the PS4 and the Xbox One, and Doom is a 60 frames per second game that can be cut in half to accommodate the Switch, right? Still though, it's weird. Doom Eternal, rolling around, but no Steep. It's weird to me, but yes, sales, money is the key word here, and I don't think Steep was going to provide it. I think they could have finished the production of it. They probably would have had to have hired somebody like a Panic Button, bring them in, but would they have made the money back to have it make sense to do this? No. Would 1080 snowboarding on the Switch make more sense? And if Ubisoft could co-develop that with Nintendo, would that make more sense? Yes, and that's what they should do. And ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for the Saturday show today. I hope you guys enjoyed today. I hope you had some fun playing some games on Saturday and Sunday. Have some fun, guys, before the work week starts again next week. Make sure you guys like the video if you enjoyed it. Dislike if not. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about today, and I'll see you guys in the next video.